What's up, team members, clients, and prospects? I'm happy to have you here today. My name is Jackson, and I look forward to introducing this book to you. The concept we're extracting from this book is called your I versus your R. It's a phenomenal concept that I see a lot of people who struggle to know exists. It's something I've lived by most of my life thanks to my own mother. So your I versus your R, what is that? Before I dive in, it's actually in the first chapter of the book behind my screen. So you can't teach a kid to ride a bike at a seminar. Kind of a crazy name, kind of a terrible name, but at the same time, the essence is perfect. So I love that David Sandler chose that for his book. Rest in peace. So you can't teach a kid to ride a bike at a seminar. It was written by David Sandler, who's long since passed away. The Sandler Institute is an okay sales institute, but unfortunately, it just doesn't grab the essence of his leadership and development. The legacy doesn't live on the way that I wish it had. There's other resources we'll be referring to teach you further. But if you go to this on Amazon, you look at 120 used, I'd buy the book used, get somebody else's notes perhaps as well, and you get it for like $6. I wouldn't recommend reading the whole book, but I do recommend at least reading the first chapter on your I versus your R. So what the heck is that? Your I is your identity, and your R is your role. Write that down. Your I is your identity, and your R is your role. The problem with most salespeople is they define themselves by their role or their title, or as we like to call it sometimes, the hat that they wear. The problem with identifying yourself by your role is if you do that, anytime you have high successes, your ego is going to go up. Anytime you have losses, your ego is going to go down. And you're going to be on this roller coaster that's inevitable because you're basing who you are based on what you do rather than your inherent value that you have based on your true identity. I stands for identity. You as a human being are inherently valuable, and people don't tell you that enough, and you likely don't tell yourself that enough. You need to love yourself. You need to love who you're going to be, who you have the potential to be. You need to love the good that has happened in your life. There's so much to that principle to unpack. This isn't about arrogance. This isn't about cocky. There's a fine line of difference between the vices of arrogance and being cocky and being self-assured, which is a virtue, and self-confident. Self-confidence and self-assuredness are virtues that you really need to develop in order to be a leader, in order to make it to the 7 figures you're striving for. So without further ado, I do want to address the YMCA shirt that I have on. This is my coach shirt, actually, because I coach my 4 kids. So today is an identity moment. My identity is not based on my role as a sales guy. My identity is much more based on the fact that I'm a father. And I want to tell you a little bit more about my why. One of my whys, and I have many because they run deep, and the deeper they run, they drive me even further. But one of my biggest whys and my legacies is what my kids will think about when they wonder, what did my dad do with his time during this life? What projects did he work on? Why do I do what I do? One of my favorite things about what I do is we help coaches, agencies, consultants, and influencers expand their legacies. So for instance, when I'm able to help Jake Larson at Video Power Marketing, when I got to spend years with him, tripling his revenues, it wasn't about the revenues. It was about the fact that we were running campaigns for Nordic Track, Yahoo.com, Lewis Howes of School of Greatness, John Lee Dumas of Entrepreneur on Fire, but more importantly, companies like The Truth About Cancer, where we helped raise $8 million in 2 months. That's something that I want my kids to remember. Lewis Howes helps Pencils of Promise. John Lee Dumas has his own causes that he's after. I want my kids to see that I spent my time helping people who help others in this world to achieve greatness. We've got 7 billion people on this earth to help. And if I go about my life helping to do all that I can to help all those people, I think my kids over time, as they ask me questions about what I do with my time or what projects I'm working on, it'll start to instill in their heart a desire to do the same. I'll become the textbook that I want them to learn from. I won't be perfect. They'll know that too. I hope your kids know that as well, that you have your ups and downs. They need to know that as they go through them too. This isn't a parenting course though, so I'm going to get out of that identity a little bit and go back to my role. But both of those things are really important. Know what your roles are in your company and make sure you do them. But what will keep you balanced and even is remembering your inherent value, that you are extremely valuable to this universe, or if you want to call it God, you're extremely valuable to God. I'm not here to judge you or make you pick. If I say prayer, think meditation. That's not for you. If I say meditation, think prayer, if that's for you. Nobody's here to put a lid or a cap on what you are or how you see the world. This world is too black and white. There's so many colors out there. There's so much essence to it. In order to get true clarity, You got to accept, you got to be more accepting and open to all of it. Let's get rid of the limiting beliefs. So have some fun, leave some comments in this. Let us know how this helps you out.